The most overlooked choice in Cyberpunk might just be its most profound. If I told you that the Nomad life path contains some of the most interesting revelations in all of Cyberpunk, you might not believe me. Life paths are optional backgrounds that have long been considered trivial. But the further we step away from Night City's loudest scenes and explosive plot turns, the more we realize that Cyberpunk is a game about the little things. Tiny, seemingly insignificant details that, when examined closely, reveal something much bigger. The Nomad life path is one of these details, a small, easily overlooked choice that's actually rich with meaning. Consider this: shortly after starting a new save, Nomad V climbs a tall radio tower on the edge of the Badlands to call someone who can help them get into Night City. It's a modest scene, yet one of the most important ones in the game, because it shows us the city in a way the Corpo and Street Kid life path never do. Here, V pauses to gaze at Night City from a distance, a city that's alluring because of its contrast with the desert that surrounds it, yet it's also strangely unreachable. Leaning on a guardrail, we're offered a rare zoomed-out perspective on the place that will eventually make or break us. Notice how the fog in the distance keeps the skyline hazy, as if Night City was a distant dream out of reach, something Nomad V isn't meant to grasp. From this vantage point, the city isn't dazzling or awe-inspiring. It's cold, sealed off, indifferent to everything else around it, us included. The same feeling of indifference emerges in our first interaction with McCoy, a fixer we contact over the radio to find Jackie Wells, the man helping us smuggle a crate across the border. McCoy provides the information, but the call is cold and brief. They tell us to stay out of trouble and not to call again, and we don't. This is the first and only time we hear from them in the game. In other words, our very first connection to Night City is already broken, and that says a lot. The life waiting for us inside the city is ruthless, indifferent to who we are and where we come from. The Nomad intro captures the true nature of Night City better than any other path by keeping us outside of it, and by making it clear we're not welcome. Back in the Badlands, we were part of a clan. In the game's famous metropolis, we are now alone. The loneliness we feel in an urban world filled with people is crucial in order to understand the iconic city better. In a dialogue with Panam toward the end of the game, V sums it up by saying,
"Miss this, you know? The camaraderie."
I know. I saw it in your heart the first time we met. Probably because I was missing it too
In
then.
Night City, you're alone, even in a crowd. But here, feels like I'm part of something important.
So you are where you need to be.
the Nomad path is not just a background with a few differences that don't matter. It's a mindset, one that lets us see the city for what it truly is, a place of loneliness, full of adrenaline but devoid of any real sense of belonging. Nomad V is the most fitting background to expose the city's artificiality and the emptiness of the lives people lead there. Ironically, it's with another Nomad clan, the Aldecaldos, that V ultimately finds meaning and a sense of belonging. For now, suffice it to say that our first contact with Night City isn't really a contact at all. It's in fact the inability to connect that characterizes our first approach of the metropolis, a failed attempt to reach a city that feels far, abstract, and unattainable. There are already some great videos about the Corpo life path and its impact, but very few recognize that the Nomad path reveals more about Cyberpunk's world than any other. The Nomad life path isn't just a backstory, it's the only perspective that allows us to see Night City for what it is, and what it absolutely isn't. It's a story about loneliness, about sacrifice, about the possibility of redemption, but more than anything, it's about learning to let go, as I am about to demonstrate. Now, to unpack everything the Nomad path offers, we need to start at the very beginning, with V, the open road, and a car that's barely holding together. A quick glance at the Nomad life path description already reveals a lot. Roaming the Badlands, looting scrapyards, raiding fuel depots, life on the road wasn't easy. But growing up in a Nomad clan has its perks: honesty, integrity, and a love of freedom, qualities that few in Night City possess, and no amount of money can buy. At first glance, Nomads are portrayed as rugged but honest, as people who have been shaped by hardship, bound together by loyalty, integrity, and a love of freedom. Paradoxically though, the game opens with V trying to get into Night City, thus casting that freedom aside along with her clan patch. Some other values associated with nomads also vanish in that first moment. V is disconnected from their former family, looking to survive in a system that trades independence for exploitation and capitalist servitude. The irony is sharp. Nomads have traits money can't buy, as the description tells us, and yet here is V trying to buy their way in and make money no matter what. Moreover, while nomads are also famous for their devotion to their family, V starts the game alone, which the mechanic, in the very first scene, brings up by noting how strange and suspicious that is. Not only that, but V is looking to repair the engine of their car, which no longer seems to work. So, from the get-go, the protagonist appears stranded, no longer free to roam the land however they see fit. Then comes the sheriff, hostile and suspicious, clearly suggesting V should leave and go back to the desert. In sum, these first few moments are not a homecoming, they're a warning. Unlike the corpo street kid path, the nomad life path begins from the outside, literally and metaphorically. V has no allies, no support system, and nowhere to go. Their outcast status is cemented early on by the radio call to McCoy and by V looking out over Night City from the antenna tower, staring at a dream that feels out of reach. But an equally important detail comes just after, when we meet Jackie Wells, that is the first warm, familiar face we encounter in this cold intro. In a street kid path, the game begins with a friendly bartender. In a corpo path, Jackie is there from the start. But for nomads, Jackie comes in much later, showcasing how connection doesn't come easy for them, and has to be earned. That's what makes the nomad intro the harshest, and arguably the most honest. V is trying to enter a city that doesn't want them. And that contradiction, fighting for a place in a world that rejects you, is exactly what Night City is all about. After loading up the cargo, Jack and V head toward the border crossing. Jackie is clearly nervous, so it's up to us to talk to the border agent and confront them in a tense conversation that requires a bribe to smooth things over. But like the interaction with the sheriff, something feels off. We're not welcome here either. And sure enough, the moment we finally enter Night City, we're ambushed. Corporate thugs come out of nowhere, guns blazing, trying to take back the contraband. The message is clear. Night City greets us with bullets. That escalation of violence is symbolic. The border checkpoint isn't a gate, it's a filter. A place of suspicion, surveillance, and most of all, a place of power. Indeed, it shows us exactly how power works in this world. Corporations pull the strings, and border agents serve them, not us. The Nomad intro makes it painfully obvious. Getting into the city doesn't mean being accepted by it. We're still outsiders. As such, the border checkpoint doesn't mark a transition from one place to another. It marks the wall between them. V crosses a threshold, but nothing changes. They're still a pariah. Interestingly, the Nomad prologue ends with V and Jackie talking next to the car and opening the cargo out of curiosity to see what they were smuggling, considering how precious the item was for the corporate thugs trying to stop them. That cargo turns out to be an iguana, an incredibly rare animal in the world of Cyberpunk, in which most wildlife has died off. The developer's choice to include an iguana in the Nomad path is interesting, given how they symbolize adaptability and resilience, being able to live in harsh environments, which, zooming out, is precisely what Nomad V will have to do in Night City. After the prologue and throughout the game, the Nomad life path mostly plays a role in a side quest, but also in certain dialogue options. Although many of them feel like flavor texts, one in particular cuts deep. The dialogue takes place during the heist mission at Asaka Tower, while V and Jackie are waiting for the plan to unfold. In a Nomad-specific line, V reflects on Yorinobu Asaka.
What do you think? Why'd you give it all up?
Who gave what up?
Yorinobu Arasaka. The good life, I mean. Old news, I know. Just got to thinking's all. It's like, think. You got everything, right? Eddies, education. Your pops can snap his fingers and turn half the planet into a nuclear wasteland. But instead, you're like, nah, f it. And what do you go do? Start a gang. Steal dragons or some. You ghost from your fam, chip some real skin, and play gang leader for a few years. For what?
Maybe he just wanted out of the system.
So then why'd he come back?
Tough to ditch the system when the system's your own family.
Black sheep's still a sheep, huh?
One way to put it.
We get a sense that he was not just a rebel within the corporate world, but someone who wanted out. For context, the reason why Yorinobu cut ties with the company and his father was his disgust for corporations and above all, for his father's abuse of power. But his rebellion never succeeded in putting the company down, and Yorinobu decided that rather than fighting the company from the outside, it would be better to fight it from within. To do so, he had to reintegrate the company and manage to control it instead of his father, so as to better destroy it from the inside. In that short dialogue option during the heist mission, we see how Nomad V sees through Yorinobu in a way others can't. Yorinobu isn't just a traitor to the Empire, he's someone who tried to escape a toxic system, the same way V once lived away from it, in the Badlands. The Nomad background helps us grasp a crucial point. Yorinobu didn't rebel out of greed or ambition, but out of disillusionment. He left Night City, but tragically, he had to return, since there is no true exit for someone whose family is the system. Players may struggle to sympathize with him, given how hard it is to pity the heir of an empire, but Jackie sums up Yorinobu's situation perfectly.
Black sheep's still a sheep, huh?
No matter what he does, Yorinobu is still Arasaka. Just as V, no matter how far they travel, is still a nomad. People often joke that Nomad's V defining trait is to constantly remind others that they used to be a nomad. Again.
Used to ride with nomads.
And again.
Belonged to a nomad family too once.
And again.
Used to wear clan colors too.
The Nomad's defining trait is very much true, but that repetition is intentional, and in fact speaks volumes. Nomad V can't let go of who they were, because deep down, they never stopped being that person. Just like Yorinobu can't fully sever himself from the system, V can't fully assimilate into it. One leaves the city and returns, the other leaves the Badlands and eventually returns. That parallel between the two shows how tragic both characters are and how inadequate they will remain up until the very end, both of them coming back to a past they thought would be behind them. Speaking of the end of the game, the Nomad life path contains its biggest impact there, before the credits roll, specifically in the star ending, in which V becomes an Aldecaldo and attacks Arasaka with Panam and their new family. When Sol is about to officially accept V as a new member, we get a Nomad-specific dialogue option, triggering this.
Solly, are you all sure about this?
Does this look like one big jest?
Look, I know what this means. Used to wear clan colors too, but to be an Aldecaldo, I don't know if you should.
Just answer the question. Are you ready?
Do your worst.
You're one of us now, V. You're an Aldecaldo, damn it.
Great to
Thanks
have
for
you
everything,
with us,
V, and don't worry. We'll get you into that Mikoshi. Isn't that the way
Welcome
of it?
to the family.
A warm welcome for our newest Aldecaldo! Come on, V!
Welcome to the clan!
Say your piece!
The
What's it they say? Easier to gain a Cobra's trust than an Aldecaldo's.
Well spoken.
So I know how much this means. To you. To me. Thank you. Will not let you down.
The weight of the ceremony, of V's integration into the family, is felt much more strongly when playing with a Nomad background. Consider how V at first just repeats yet again that they come from a Nomad family. Once more, the life path offers dialogue options that keep hammering the same thing, but here it makes perfect sense. V understands how meaningful and how heavy being chosen by a family truly is. So, repeating that they were part of a clan in the past helps showcase that they know these decisions are for life, that they carry serious consequences, not just for the one being chosen, but for the whole family, who will now go to town to protect their newest member. Throughout the dialogue and the ceremony, we hear the emotion in V's voice, the voice of someone who left that life long ago, but came back to it after finding the right people. In brief, putting on a Nomad jacket again and donning a new patch after having thrown away the old one shows V's evolution best. From a relentless young person chasing legend at any cost, to someone who wants to slow down and spend time with the ones they love. In this context, the star ending is a bittersweet ending, one that encapsulates Cyberpunk perfectly, especially if the player chose a Nomad life path. Some players argue that the ideal Cyberpunk run is Corpo V choosing the Nomad ending, symbolizing a radical break from corporate life. And while that's compelling, I believe starting as a nomad makes the ending far more powerful. Why? Because it creates a full circle. V begins the game outside the city, looking in. They fight tooth and nail to make it in Night City, only to realize, by the end, that what they truly want isn't there. On paper, the ending could look like failure. V didn't rise to the top, they didn't make it big. They just left, back to where they started. But that's the point. When we watch closely, we see that V's choice isn't about giving up, but about choosing something real. Choosing family, peace, connection. The world they left behind becomes the one they return to, but this time, it's not from desperation, it's with intention. And that evolution resonates the strongest after having started the game as Nomad. The star ending is powerful in this specific context, because V is shown being brave, not by pursuing lofty ideals out of stubbornness, but rather by choosing something far more difficult, a life they left and need to get back to. The contrast couldn't be starker. The chaos and violence of Night City fade into the background as V rides into the desert, gets out of the basilisk and takes a long breath, showing contentment and serenity. What could have felt like running away instead feels like redemption. Hence, the Nomad ending isn't a defeat. It embodies clarity and maturity. It embodies V's willingness to let go of a dream that hurt them and embrace a life they once believed they had to abandon. In the end, V's bravery isn't to be found in them clinging to a fantasy, rather, it's knowing when to walk away from it. The last few words V says before the credits roll are also significant. V claims,
"It's perfect. All great, Pan Am. We're going home."
Here, V recognizes that home is not Night City, with its bombastic and chaotic life, but the Badlands, and a quiet life spent with family. Saying this recontextualizes their life in Night City for what it truly is, a parenthesis, a moment in time when they were looking for themselves, and now that they have found it, granted at a heavy price, they can go back home and live in peace. Notice, too, V's expression when saying, "we're going home." For a brief moment, V's eyes look down, as if reminiscing about their dreams and the fact that they put them behind. A second later, we actually see V look back up, determined, certain they've made the right decision for themselves and the people they care about. That subtle shift highlights V's evolution throughout the story. While past V was egocentric, focused on their desires and dreams in Night City, present V cast that selfishness away, replaced by we in "We're Going Home." Cyberpunk was released years ago, and yet the game has never been more beloved than it is today. We could attribute this resurgence to its evolving gameplay, its technical polish, or its ever-improving updates. But beyond all of that, what keeps people coming back is something quieter, something deeper. It's the small details, the things we once overlooked, that now shines the brightest. For years, the life paths were dismissed as superficial flavor, a forgotten prologue with little narrative weight. But time has revealed otherwise. Look closely, and you'll find that these early choices resonate throughout the story in ways that aren't loud, but lasting. The Nomad path, in particular, is proof of that. It's not just a backstory, it's a mindset, a way of seeing the world. It begins with a broken engine, a worn-out jacket, and a long road ahead, and it ends with something Cyberpunk rarely offers: peace. The strength of the Nomad arc lies not in spectacle, but in clarity. It tells the story of someone who walked into Night City chasing a dream, only to wake up. Someone who returns to the road, not because they failed, but because they finally understood what mattered. When V says "we're going home," it's more than just a line. It's a realization that home was never the city, never the chrome, never the legend. It was the people waiting on the other side of the desert, the quiet, the dirt, the clan. And maybe, more than anything, it was the ability to let go of a world that never truly accepted them, to choose meaning over noise. In the end, what makes a Nomad life path so powerful is that V doesn't conquer the city. They outgrow it, and that, quietly, is the most radical thing of all. Thank you for diving into the Nomad path and mindset with me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I'll see you in the next one.